glob out a nice thing of almond butter, slap it on, spread it, mouth's watering, but boom. Then I'm like, and then I took it off. I was like, what are you doing? I went to wipe back, and then a voice in my head was like, why are you making this weird? Yo, man, chill up, man. We talking about making it weird. It's like, why are you making it weird? What is up? It's your boy John and Street Vive, BB Promos and Tell Like It Is. Welcome back to another episode of the podcast Uncut. Today I'm going to give you guys some easy fat loss tips. Now, these are the tips that I've gathered from basically having conversations with, clients or just questions that are asked very frequently during consults. So guys, take advantage of this. If you guys want to get a consult and talk nutrition, training, supplementation, whatever it is, do so. They benefit a lot of people. Anyway, let's get into this. Now, right away, my biggest thing when it comes to, how I coach, basically, I wrote some notes down, is the first thing is I used to be very big on just here, man, here's some diet and here's 6 meals a day and here, figure it out, do this diet. And that doesn't work because people create habits. People create habits like biting your nails. If someone said right now to you, hey, stop biting your nails, you'd be like, yeah, right. It wouldn't work. You'd fail. You'd try to for a bit and maybe a day or two, then you'd be back to biting nails. Now, first thing before we even start dieting is this thing I used to say all the time. See it, believe it, become it, right? So a lot of times when people start dieting, they start to diet or they think, hey, I want to diet or I want to lose fat or whatever it is. All they're thinking about in their head is I want to lose fat. That's it. Or they're like, I want to be toned or whatever it is. But they don't really think in their head of what that actually looks like. What is Jimmy or Chrissy or Steven or I don't know, whoever? What does that person look like? When that person has lost the fat, has put on the muscle or whatever it is, if the picture in your head is a certain look, that certain look needs a strategy. It needs to be approached properly. So when it comes to dieting, make sure that you have an idea of what you're trying to actually achieve and then go from there. See it first, believe you can make it there, and then become it. And then when you get into those things, don't try to change things right away. Don't just think you're gonna start a new diet. Do not do that. Do not. Don't wait till January 1st to say, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna turn my life around right now. I'm gonna clean things up. It's not gonna work. You'll set yourself up for failure. What you wanna do is, and this is something that I've taken from, a dietitian standpoint, really is creating better overall behavior changes. That's it. Implement a behavioral change to start. Before we start food prepping or creating an actual diet plan, whatever it is, let's see some low-hanging fruit goals. And that's in the next step too. But let's just see where we can improve right away and just make one simple change. It might be hey, are you drinking enough water? That's a very simple one. No. Okay, how much water are you drinking? Not much at all. Okay, let's try and drink a liter of water a day. And you should be drinking more. You should be drinking at least 3 liters of water, at least, regardless. Let's just try that right away. Let's just drink more water. And then, or it could be let's just actually prep one meal and let's make that our go-to meal. So we know that each day we have this one meal that's already made or very easy for me to make. Whatever it is. What that does is it sets up positive reinforcement. It gets your body more and more, positive, the more positive dopamine release. And you're like, oh my God, I achieved this. It's goal setting, goal achieving. And it makes you want to do it more and more and more. The problem is people think that, hey man, I'm just going to start doing a diet right away. Boom, like that, I'm going to change. And then they might say I'm going to try this. And they might be doing it for a good 2 months maybe. And then all of a sudden they miss one day and oh, I blew it. Oh my God, I ate food and I screwed up. Oh my God. And then they go back to the beginning. It's no, make some low-hanging fruit goals right away. Get the positive reinforcement coming over and over and over again amongst high-achieving goals as well too. So have that long-term goal setting. I want to lose X amount of weight, whatever. But right now, I'm going to drink more water and I'm going to try to, make a meal or whatever it is. Make sure you, just create, set some low-hanging fruit goals, behavioral changes first, and implement those first. Now, once you've got to that point where you have some, low-hanging fruit goals and you're actually, making those things work, now let's be consistent with that. Obviously, consistency is key. It's literally that is everything and anything when it comes to goals. Just be consistent at doing that action over and over again, that positive action, right? So be consistent with those, behavioral changes. That's your main goal at the start of your journey to lose fat. Using these tips would be like, I'm going to be consistent drinking 1 liter of water a day. And you're going to do that for as long as it takes you to be like, man, 1 liter water a day is super simple. And my body's starting to send off more cues to drink more water. I'm going to try and drink 2 liters of water now. I don't know, whatever it is. You get the point. Just be consistent with that. Before you start actually making a diet, you got to know how much, you're actually eating. And for the most part, people really have no clue what they're eating. They're just like, I'm gonna start dieting. And they're like, I decided I'm gonna eat 1,000 calories. And then it's like, what? And that happens all the time. Trust me. The amount of consults I get, and I get people talking, I'm like, hey, what are you eating, blah, blah. And they're sharing with me their diet and whatnot. And then they get to this amount of calories they've been eating for X amount of time. Like, where'd you come up with that number? What made a 250 pound overweight male eat 1,900 calories? I don't know I don't get, or 1,500, something, it's weird. You know what I mean? I don't know what it is. Regardless, you don't know. You can't just decide, I'm gonna start dieting without knowing how much your body's been actually using. So an easy way to estimate, remember, you gotta understand calorie counting and calories in general, it's a very estimated thing. You cannot actually really get the actual amount of calories or energy you're expending. You can't get that. It's impossible. But it just gives you an idea and a range. Just like body fat percentages. It doesn't matter where it's at, as long as going in the right direction, you see the physical changes. Either way, you need to know how much you're actually, eating or what it's actually doing. So if you put it this way, check this out. What you're gonna do is you're basically gonna track 3-5 days, right? You're gonna find some kind of calorie app, I don't know, whatever it is, and you're just gonna track it, right? Again, it's just an estimate. And you're not gonna change anything. You're not gonna be like, oh, I'm gonna change what I'm eating. I'm saying after we've done the behavioral changes and you're drinking more water, you're prepping one meal, at least you can at least know what that meal is. You're gonna track your whole entire day. You're just gonna put what you've been eating in the day. You're gonna be like, all right, I ate this for meal. I ate 4 meals that day, and you ate this for first meal, this for breakfast. You had a little snack before lunch, and you had lunch, and you had maybe and you had dinner. I don't know. You track that for 3 to 5 days. That, along with whatever you're doing in your life, whether you're in the gym 3 times a week, or maybe you're not in the gym, or whatever it is, right? We're talking your weight is going to be a reflection of how much you've been eating, how much exercise you've actually been doing, and then the non-exercise, non-exercise activity thermogenesis. The everything outside of intentionally training for resistance, right? All of that's gonna give you what your weight has been. Your weight might have been fluctuating 2 to 5 pounds. It does, it goes up 2 to 5 pounds, right? So if you were to say I've been 174 pounds, between 174 and 170 and 179 for the last 2 months, and I've been eating this many calories, I've been doing this much exercise or not that much exercise, whatever. That's what your maintenance would be. Whatever you've been eating and doing and whatever else outside of that is going to give you an idea of what you've been doing to sustain or maintain the weight you are. Then from there, you can go and start to get into a deficit, right? So how do you do that? You basically, from then, you know that you can take off some calories. My goal, my thing is the 10, 13, 15 rule. Don't diet less than 10 times your body weight in calories. 30 times body weight in calories is a pretty big deficit as well too, 10 being very great. And then 15 times the body weight in calories would be around maintenance. It's very loosely, but it's very close. Just give it a try. Regardless, there's where you can kind of give an idea of where you should start to diet. So if you're 150 pounds, don't diet less than 1,500 calories. This doesn't make any sense. Now, before you start thinking about how much you start dieting and whatnot, when you look and see what you've been doing, if we look at basically how many calories are by the food you've been eating and the exercise you're doing or not doing and the stuff you've been doing that doesn't include exercise at all, and realize that in the exercise part, you don't really do any cardio, start doing that. Just start moving, move more. Get some steps in, between 10 to 20,000 steps a day. Just do something. For the most part, when people come to me about dieting and they go through and they get to the point where they're stuck, literally they're like, Johnny, man, I've been this many calories in for X amount of months and I just can't seem to lose any more weight. And I'm like, cool, so how much cardio are you doing? Well, not much. What's not much? Well, I maybe walk about 10 minutes, a couple here and there. I'm like, there's so much more room for you to be in a deficit from just moving. And here's a big thing that people understand. Your moving around is gonna guarantee you losing energy, way more than you just dicing off calories. So when you get to a point where you're gonna actually start into a diet, get yourself into a deficit by a good amount of exercise and food. Don't just dice off all the food right away, and then not do any kind of cardio, or dice off the food right away and eat a bunch of and do a bunch of cardio. It doesn't work. It's not gonna be beneficial. So little things at a time. Just do that first. Move around a little bit and then see where you're at in calorie wise and say, hey, let's get yourself into maybe a deficit of maybe 200 calories once you've kind of given an idea of what your estimated amount of calories are. That makes sense. We're talking about losing fat, and we have to talk about being in a deficit in your diet, being in a deficit. When you're using that 10, 13, 15 rule, it's not just about calories in, calories out. It's the macros within the calories in, calories out that will make it more optimal. If you're going to be in a deficit, here's how I would kind of map out your protein. Make sure a majority of your diet is protein. So look at say your body weight and protein, right? That's simple, right? And then fill the rest in with fat and then carbs. What you want to do is making sure you're not going cheap on your protein, because your body needs protein to replenish all of what needs to of your body needing protein, muscle, collagen, hair, nails, whatever, right? And then fats. Make sure that you're not cheaping out the fats that are going to help with your essential fatty acids that will help with hormonal stabilization. For the most part, when people diet, they just dice out fat because they know that fat takes up so much more and I can get way more out of just carbs. And they're in a carb protein heavy diet in a deficit, and their body needs the fats. The fats are essential for thinking, cognitive, let's just not even go further from that. You need to have a level head being in a deficit, and you need to have the protein when you're in a deficit. So cover those things being in a deficit, and then the rest with your carbs and whatnot. That makes any sense. Now, once you're there, whatever that looks like to you, do what works for you. If it's intermittent fasting, keto, if it's your macros, calories and calories, whatever it is, do what works for you. The only diet that works is the one that you can stick to. So don't think that it's a one size fits all type thing. Whatever the type of diet that works for your lifestyle, that works for your ability to stay in control and have self-control, do that works for you. Can't go any further from that. Now, last but not least, don't make it weird. Do not make it weird. I'll give you a short little story. It was a little bit after prep, I think last year. I was basically sitting, it was a little bit after prep last year, and I was hungry at night. It was one of those nights where, I get a little green before I go to bed, and there you go. And I'm like, hunger's starting to come up. I want to eat a peanut butter sandwich, but I love almond butter instead. So I love doing the almond butter open face sandwiches. So we got 2 of them, bam, bam. I get it out, toast pops up, reach in, glob out a nice thing of almond butter, slap it on, spread it, mouth's watering, but boom. Then I'm like, and then I took it off. I was like, what are you doing? I went to wipe back, and then a voice in my head was like, why are you making this weird? Yo, man, chill out, man. We talking about making it weird. It's like, why are you making it weird? You want to have this. You want to have it. Plus, you just basically dieted for the last 16 weeks. It was right after prep. It's like, why are you making this weird? The only reason why people really, I would say reason why people can have EDs. The biggest factor when it comes to EDs is the shaming. It's the self-shaming. It's the, I can't believe you just did that type thing. And it's it's not necessary. And you only shame yourself because you have believed or been told that you shouldn't be doing this. This is a cheat meal. I worked my butt off all week, and now I can splurge. I can be bad. Oh yeah, food porn. And it's not that. Literally, eat it and own it and move on with your life. Don't think you have to sit all week long, because this is what happened. All week long, I'm going to be super self-control. I'm the self-control champion all week. And then on the weekend, I'm just gonna let it all go because I've had self-control week. And then when that happens, sometimes the body just doesn't know when to stop, depending on what kind of diet you're doing. Now, if you're doing exactly what I said, you're not gonna be in extreme deficit doing all this stuff in the first place, right? Either way, you're just gonna be like, oh my God, and you're gonna eat, and they're gonna eat more than what you wanted to eat. And then you're like, oh my God, I can't believe I just did that. Whoa, and then I gotta correct myself, I gotta fix it, I'm gonna do more cardio the next day. I'm gonna do cardio today. I don't know what. And you start this really negative like relationship with food because you made it weird. Pick something you wanna eat and eat it. Own it. Eat it and own it and move on with your life. Enjoy it. Understand, if you're in a deficit all week long and you decide you want to have some kind of meal that's off plan, eat it and own it. But my thing is, don't make it weird. Don't overindulge and make it weird by doing that. And don't make it weird by guilting yourself. Enjoy your life. Anyway, guys, that is it. Now, check it out. If you do these tips or have done some of the things I've mentioned in this video, let me know in the description below and let me know if it's actually changed your life or saved your life for the better. Anyway, guys, hope you guys enjoyed that video. If you did, make sure you guys like, subscribe, and share. You know, I'm a comment that tell like it is, transparent, vulnerable truth. And for coaching, johnrashid.com. Anyway, guys, if you want to know more about my coaching, guys, book yourself a 15 or 30-minute consult. At the end of the consult, I deduct it off any package that you pick. Also, guys, hit the description below for those discount codes and promo codes that help save your life or change life for the better. And guys, make sure you guys add me on TikTok and Instagram, guys. Send me your training pics, your progress pics, and your video clips, and I'll repost it for you because you know how it is. Iron sharpens iron. Progressive overload your life. In the meantime, keep dream chasing. Peace.